guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is Mark Ellis, and look how sharp he looks.
Welcome one and all to the best movie news show in the entire galaxy. My name is Mark, and this is the show that's a straight shooter with upper management written all over it. On today's program, the Justice League gets a running time, Phantom Thread gets a trailer, and we talk about Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Ashley, who's joining me today?
Also, here's Jon Schnepp.
What's going on? We were just talking about Rick and Morty and all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, I love that show. But I'm not going to buy the Clue or Monopoly set. I'm going to get the original ones. I might get the Golden Girls one. I don't know. I'm confused now.
Also, here, Clarke Wolfe.
Good morning, everybody. 1 week until Halloween.
Oh,
Happy Halloween, and thank you to everybody who's watched The Return of Nightmares every day this week for a Halloween special at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yes, congratulations. I was able to check out Nightmares yesterday, and you kids really enjoy the horror. It's really fun. It's not just like horror, but it's also it's like anything that might exist in that genre. So it really is a fun show to watch. You guys, breaking news that I did not know, Jon Schnepp, Golden Girls has a Monopoly game.
Yes. No, it's crazy. I thought about buying it, not just for myself, but for other people who love Golden Girls. Because who doesn't love Golden Girls?
You know what? If you bought that for me, you know what I'd say to you?
What would you say?
Thank you for
being a friend.
No,
Clarke, we were going to sing
that
it.
was good.
I thought I was stepping on
this.
your joke, and I'm sorry, and I couldn't help myself.
You don't step on my jokes. You gently glide over them like they're
No,
lily
I'm
pads.
Would you sing it to me? Thank you for being a friend.
I don't think I could have harmonized that any better. So with that, we will be friends to everybody here and move on from Golden Girls Monopoly and on to our very first topic of the day, which involves some guy named The Flash.
In a report from Manabyte and then later confirmed by theater chains AMC and Regal, the runtime for Justice League has been revealed to be coming in at a lean 121 minutes, making this entry in the DCEU the shortest runtime of any DC film thus far. Though Warner Brothers Home Entertainment released extended editions of both Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad, there has been no confirmation that Justice League will get an extended cut later on down the line. Mark, thoughts on Justice League's runtime?
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts on this, Ashley. And the first thing I'll say is, all right, I don't get too excited about a runtime. I really don't. It's 2 hours. Does that seem a little lean to my ear? Sure, just based on the other DCEU movies that have come out. But some of those flicks I thought got a little long in the tooth. Batman v Superman, for how much everybody, was gushing about. Oh, well, when you see the final super ultimate edition of it, it's 3 hours long and it has so many added scenes. I think you could have trimmed a lot of that stuff for the theatrical release. And with this, it seems lean to me, Clarke, because you have a 2-hour movie where you're introducing some new characters that were teased in Batman v Superman. Now they're going to have full-fledged storylines, and we're all teaming up together to battle something. And obviously, we're going to be setting up future movies here, but for this flick, 2 hours does seem a little short. Is that just me?
I mean, I think we've just sort of been taught that superhero movies need to be 2.5 hours plus, and I don't think that that's necessarily true. At the end of the day, I think Suicide Squad maybe should have been a little shorter. It's not. And with Justice League, I feel like they are really counting on the fact that Superman. Well, if Superman comes back. But we know who Henry Cavill's Superman is. We know who Ben Affleck's Batman is. We know who Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is. And so the rest of the team, I think, is just going to sort of fill in the blanks, and that's okay. I think that they feel like they have introduced the characters via Batman v Superman. I think they're all set on that. So at this point, they're assuming that the audience, through trailers or first looks or whatever, or just honestly pop culture in general, know who the Flash and Cyborg and Aquaman are. And so it's like, yeah, just tell the story. Like, I actually kind of love this. Tell me it's a team-up movie, sure, but let's just tell this one story and have everybody in on the action, and I'll get more Aquaman when the Aquaman movie comes out, which I'm super excited to see.
Yeah, I think you're also going to get more Justice League once the Blu-ray comes out, Schnepp. That's what this story tells me, is that we're going to be getting some sort of another Ultimo Super Special, the best edition ever, that's going to have all these deleted scenes and more footage. Let me give you some runtime, just to digest this news a little bit. So, Man of Steel was 143 minutes. Batman v Superman 151 minutes. Suicide Squad felt like 3 hours, but it was really just a little bit over 2 hours. And then Wonder Woman clocked in at a healthy 141 minutes. So this being the shortest DCU runtime to date, how do you feel about that?
How long was the ultimate cut?
The ultimate cut of Batman v Superman
Too long.
was 9 hours.
9 hours.
I think it was right around 3, a little under 3.
Well, you know, for myself, 121 minutes, I'm not worried about. I think you know, fans might be overreacting, or the people who are reacting really strongly about like feeling like they're getting ripped off is like, I don't even see how that's possible without seeing the movie first. So overreacting is like an understatement. I think people are just freaking out for no reason. 121 minutes is longer than most normal movies, I think. I mean, for a superhero film or for a DC film, it's a little bit shorter. I don't think that's any cause for concern. You're right. I would hope that we would see on the Blu-ray, I would like to see Zack Snyder's original cut. We'll never see this, but I would like to see that because I know it was done like 6 months ago, and that's when all the changes happened. They were like, we need to rewrite it. We needed a lot of things were addressed by Warner Brothers and the executives there. So, but I would like to see what he wanted to present. And I know it was done, so it's like that would be kind of cool to see his vision of it, whatever that vision is. I'd like to see, if not that, at least the hour of cutout scenes that exist somewhere on somebody's hard drive. I think fans are going to like that, seeing the alternate versions of certain scenes that maybe were reshot or rewritten, scenes or storylines that were completely cut out, like Deathstroke. I mean, certain things that we know were in the film that are not in the film now. We know for facts that were shot that aren't in the film now because of, you know, rerouting the story or whatever's going on. Those are the kinds of things I'm more interested in. Runtime I could care less about, like until I see the film. And then if the film is all fractured and feels like nothing makes sense, then I'll, just like Batman v Superman, I'll be pissed. I'll be like, you cut this down because you're trying to squeeze people in and you don't care about the film or the story. I don't think that's going to be the case in this. I think what they did is they made a really fast-moving film. You're going to assemble all these characters. Sure, it's the first time we're seeing Flash and Aquaman, but I think, and Cyborg, and I think we probably won't get a full origin on them. I think we'll get like a case file thing. We might get more for Cyborg than anybody else, simply because he's connected to the main story thread, which is these mother boxes, which if you haven't seen the trailer of Mother Box, I don't even know what a mother box is, and I read comic books, so I don't know what they're... A mother box in the comic book is simply, it's also a boom tube to get to the new Genesis or Apocalypse. Now I'm talking like crazy, like, what's he talking about?
Getting really
it's
sweaty
getting all
in here.
scientific in comic books. So anyway,
Are they available in Southern California?
you can
right
get
now?
at least 7 boom boxes. Oh, wait, if you're talking about mother boxes, I don't know what we're talking about anymore. I want to see the film. I think what they're going to do, Act 1 is assemble the team, set up the threat. Act 2 is fight the threat, fail. Act 3 is reassemble. Superman comes back, fights something in the sky. Hopefully that's not what's going on. I want 3 mother boxes combined to create some channeling thing in the sky. Must close the portal. Where's Iron Man? I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. So that's my concern. I don't care how long it is. I don't want to see we must close the hole in the sky. If that happens, I'm going to riot. So that's what my concern is, the story. That's all my concern is. 120 minutes. It could be 90 minutes, and it could have been the best Justice League movie ever, and it's 90 minutes with 10 minutes of credits. There.
I mean, we talk so much too about like how we don't need an origin story for every character, like 900 Spider-Man origin stories. We know it, we get it, like that kind of thing. So actually, I kind of love. I was thinking actually to X-Men. I think it was Days of Future Past where we met Quicksilver. Yeah, am I right?
No.
Which one do we meet Quicksilver?
Is
Not David.
Marvel. So
No,
he's in X-Men,
he's
but
in
that's the
X-Men.
first time that we really got to see Quicksilver in action.
Yeah.
Oh,
proper
right.
way.
You're right,
You know
because
what
they're
I'm
both
talking about?
Quicksilvers.
I'm talking
I
about
get
Evan
confused.
Peters Quicksilver, right?
It's
But-
It's the Avengers Age of Ultron
Okay,
Quicksilver, Magneto Quicksilver.
You're
I'm
getting
so
very
confused.
sweaty. You're getting sweaty. But my point about Evan Peters.
Evan Peters. Let's just call him Evan Peters.
Here's my point about Evan Peters. That scene that introduced us to his Quicksilver probably lasted 90 seconds, 2 minutes. You got everything you needed to know to be on Team Evan Peters Quicksilver.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm sort of getting at, is like, I hope that DC was like, you know what? Let's just throw the Flash in there and let him be awesome. He's featured heavily in the trailer. Cyborg is connected to the main story. We know Aquaman's getting his own movie. So like, how much more do we actually need?
It would be great in a perfect world to think that like everybody in DC just sat down and they all had a great copacetic meeting and this is the script and we're going to go shoot it and it's going to be a clean 2 hours. But if you've been following the production of this movie, that has been so far from the actual case where you've had two directors come in, where you had Zack Snyder's vision and then Joss Whedon comes in and retools a lot of what the movie is going to look like, which lends some sort of doubt in my mind that this could have been done in 2 hours, because you are introducing a lot of stories. You also have the element of Superman possibly coming back. You also have teasing other characters. If there's a Green Lantern teaser, there's other villains that they're teasing. That's a lot to do in 2 hours. And plus, you just have the overall fact that Justice League is something that a lot of people, myself included, have been waiting to see for a long time. And so if you're going to get so excited about this movie that you never thought would get made, and it's finally here, and it's only 2 hours, I understand some fan hesitation where you're like, wait, that's it? Because I'm willing to invest more time in watching this movie, and I have one of the tiniest bladders of any moviegoer you're ever going to meet. Having said that, I think fans getting upset and acting just like little punk-ass kids on a playground who got their toys stolen just at the person who reported this news is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Do you have any idea how moronically stupid you have to be to blame somebody who's merely breaking the news? The term "don't shoot the messenger," the phrase "don't shoot the messenger" has been around since long before Shakespeare, but you should not be mad at the person reporting this news. You shouldn't even be mad at the people who made this news until you actually see the film for yourself and can decide if you thought it was too short. Ashley, do you think that a writer who's getting death threats just because they broke the news is just a little bit out of line?
It's a little bit dramatic. It's a little bit dramatic. But I have to say, I understand what people are saying, because there are a lot of characters, a lot of storylines coming together, but 120 minutes is not a short movie. And for me, I start to think about, I need to go pee, my bladder's like getting full, my parking's getting expensive. But to me, it's like when a teacher would say, oh, your essay has to be it has to be 2,000 words long. You start to add fluff that really takes away from the story that if you can get to the point in 120 minutes, I think that they thought that was the best time for this movie, and you just have to trust that. So I like it minus the fluff.
You know what? Paul Revere used to eat peanut butter and fluff sandwiches. So don't be chasing down Paul Revere. He's our friend. So you can't be mad at people who are like delivering information to you and threaten them. That's just stupid. I don't know what other thing to call it. It's insane.
No, I mean
it's not even trolling. It's just utter stupidity.
We've seen this with a lot of different elements, Clarke. And when the internet gets mad at somebody, a lot of times it's for a just reason, and a lot of times it's for a completely ridiculous reason. I think this would fall into the latter category.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any experience with this at all, so I it's hard for me to understand what exactly you're talking about.
So anyway, sometimes you'll log on to the information superhighway, and some people can turn on you. And this isn't particularly DC fan. This could be DC. This could be Marvel. This could be Star Wars fans, Game of Thrones fans. Yeah, I'm looking at you. I mispronounced the name. Go F yourself. I think that this is just a symptom of the universe we live in, but it should not be. And I'm glad that a lot of the names that were giving death threats to this person got turned over to the FBI, because it doesn't matter if you're on social media, you're hiding behind some firewall, you're in a basement somewhere way off away from Los Angeles. If you make a death threat online, in public, in this chat room right now, you deserve to be hunted down like the dog you are.
And don't be mad at me because I got confused about Quicksilver. I knew it was Quicksilver. There's too many Quicksilvers in the Marvel semi-symbiotic universe. They're like Fox and Marvel.
Hang on, I gotta write Jon Schnepp something real quick. I'm very
Mark,
upset.
I can't believe I'm receiving it on my hand screen. I can't believe you said that to me, dude.
Well, look, if our hot takes on the Justice League runtime isn't enough to get your fervor, maybe our take on the next story will, because we have a trailer for a new movie starring Double D Lewis. What is it, Ash?
Focus Features has released the first trailer for Paul Thomas Anderson's Phantom Thread. The drama is set in the couture world of 1950s London and reunites Anderson with his There Will Be Blood star Daniel Day-Lewis, who stars as a dressmaker to royalty and high society. The movie also stars Leslie Manville and Vicky Krieps and is set to hit theaters this Christmas. Clarke, thoughts on the first trailer for Paul Thomas Anderson's Phantom Thread?
I really dug this. I really, really did. So I vowed after The Master to never watch another Paul Thomas Anderson movie ever again. That's not true. Not to never watch it, but to definitely not watch it in a theater, to definitely not pay money. But There Will Be Blood is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it is a modern American classic. And Daniel Day-Lewis, I want to see him and Paul Thomas Anderson together again. And when I watched this trailer, what I sort of took away from it was it was shocking to see Daniel Day-Lewis look like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Right.
I mean, like, he wasn't in, full makeups, and he wasn't in heavy wigs and things like that, but there's something, it appears with this movie that there's something sinister bubbling underneath the surface, and I love that. I really, really love that. And I'm intrigued, but I was intrigued by The Master as well, and that trailer. So, but I think Daniel Day-Lewis, that's the thing that's going to bring me into the theater.
Okay. Schnepp, why don't you go ahead and take this?
All right, Ellis. I think this trailer is fantastic. I mean,
Okay.
I can't say I love The Master, but I think it's a great film. I don't know what. We'll talk about that later,
Woof.
Clarke. So, There Will Be Blood is a masterpiece, and seeing these two, this director and this actor together again, yeah, definitely he's not got the Lincoln scrubs, and he's like, he does look like a little more like, hey, that's the cobbler that I know and love. But the storyline is what intrigues me. It's all about control, and it's obviously a love story, and it's about whose love story is it going to be. So, I mean, that's what the trailer is about. It's showing this person who has a controlled lifestyle, who loves his lifestyle, and is also afraid of letting go of his emotions. And that is in the sense of falling in love or letting someone else kind of take over his control over the situation, i.e. either be it the fashion situation or his life situation. And I feel like there's a give and take when you're in a relationship, and that's what this film is about. And they keep referring to whether it's a game or not. That word comes up many, many times, and I feel like that's what the storyline is going to be. That's what this teaser showed me. I'm very interested.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can understand the element all too well of if you have like a personal life that you're trying to balance between your professional life, and if that professional life has not only demands on it, but also a very specific set of circumstances. Like when you're a comic, you go on the road a lot, and you like check into the hotel, and you get your nap, and you do your show, and you do the meet and greet, and you sleep, then you do the whole thing again, but then you come back, and then if you're dealing with actual people that are in your life, it gets to be, wait, what am I balancing this with? What's more important to me? And I saw a lot of that in the trailer. It's just that, Ashley, I watch it, and it just that Paul Thomas Anderson is a very difficult bird for me to get into the movie and enjoy. I will disagree with Clarke that when I saw The Master, I was like, if I didn't love the movie, I loved watching the performances in it because I was so impressed, and I love the religious commentary that lied therein. Did this trailer get you like it got Schnepp and Clarke, or are you more on my side where you're still on the fence about how this is going to play?
I have to say, when we first read the rundown, I think it was a couple weeks ago, or maybe a week ago or so, I was not into this. I thought it was going to be an absolute snore fest. This trailer turned it around for me. There is just going to be so much more than some dressmaker making clothes. There is a juicy twist that is going to happen in this movie. He said something like, I hide things where no one can see them or something. He's like, sewing things into people's labels of clothing. And it looks like there is going to be so much more than just this relationship between this couple. I can't wait to see the twist. It looks juicy as hell. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, Clarke, when Ashley was telling me the premise of this a couple weeks ago, I was like, this sounds like the most boring movie that I would never possibly want to see.
It sounded like a snore
but-
I remember you guys were both haters. I was on that episode. I was like,
boring.
I don't even know who these people are anymore.
Who
are they?
If you tell me the description of Justice League, I'm like, oh, I need to see that movie today. You tell me this, I'm like, fine. This is really the one the guy's walking off the court on. Okay, this is Clarke. Is this going to be Daniel Day-Lewis hitting that Jordan shot in '98 against the Jazz?
I think that this might be. I don't understand that reference, by the way.
Well, Michael
but-
Jordan actually didn't retire after that.
He
did,
said like
then he
something
came
about
back,
jazz,
but-
like music is what he's talking
jazz!
about.
I love
Yeah.
jazz.
Because
Just like
jazz.
Ryan Gosling
Yeah.
in that movie
Yeah.
that
Because
everyone
as we
likes.
all know,
Fa la
jazz
la.
was started in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Anyway, no, look, okay. I think that to me, Daniel Day-Lewis is an actor who, especially, let's just look at his collaboration with Paul Thomas Anderson. Daniel Plainview is a flashy, big, gnarly, chewing the scenery in the best way possible character. I kind of love and I think, I know a lot of people say that Lincoln is probably like Daniel Day-Lewis's greatest performance. Obviously My Left Foot is the, won the first Oscar for, but But to me, I kind of love the idea of him going out on perhaps, we don't know, but a very opposite style character, especially, you know, given his experience with Paul Thomas Anderson. Like, this character seems just as sinister and just as dangerous, but in a very subdued way. And for an actor, I would imagine, especially an actor like Daniel Day-Lewis, to do the quiet things and to get to actually work with a director who's interested in minutia and not be, I drink your milkshake, like, that's pretty cool. So I kind of, and if you're Daniel Day-Lewis and you're probably the greatest living male actor of our time, you do whatever you want.
The Jazz were actually started in New Orleans. They used to be the New Orleans Jazz, then they moved to.
Why are you calling music the? You can't just say jazz, dude. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Sports ball.
All right, let's move on to what's opening this week in theaters. I hope it's not a basketball documentary, so as we don't confuse Mr. Jon Schnepp. Maybe we got a good horror flick?
That we do. Woo. It's Jigsaw. A mysterious madman rounds up a group of victims to play sadistic games of life and death. Police soon find evidence that link the crimes to Jigsaw, the infamous killer who died 10 years earlier.
But how can he be doing this if he's dead? I actually saw the trailer for this in the theater before I had the pleasure of watching the hit Oscar film Geostorm, and I really dug the trailer for Jigsaw. This is a guy that I want everybody to brace yourselves. If you're not sitting down and you need to find somewhere that's safe to sit, do not operate heavy machinery when you hear this next thing come out of my mouth. Haven't seen any of the Saw movies.
Still?
Never seen any of the Saw movies.
What?
Since the last time we covered this 3 weeks ago? No, I'm a busy guy.
It's been 3
and
weeks.
I'm not a torture porn fan.
I think it's
love
on
horror
Netflix.
movies, but I feel like these are gonna be torture porn movies. The people to my immediate right and left are reacting strongly to that statement. So Clarke, I will say this. I saw the Jigsaw trailer. While it did look a little torture porn, it looked a little TPE to me, I still maintain that I was intrigued by the storyline. Don't hate me. Uh-oh.
First of all,
the moon is full.
okay, first of all, I hate the term torture porn.
Okay.
Shame on you.
Then
Shame on you.
Tell me why this is not just torture porn. Shame.
Shame. Okay, look. So, first Saw movie, I would argue a really innovative, low-budget crime thriller. The marketing department did its job too well, and this was a time where torture porn was sort of being the term du jour for horror. And I've gone on many times before, and tweet me and I'll tell you all about it. But the idea of the mid 2006, 7, 8, reasons that torture found its way into horror film, right? Whether it's Hostel or the first Saw movie or The Hills Have Eyes. Now, the rest of the Saw movies, not my bag, admittedly. I'm not a huge fan of the franchise, mostly because for me in Saw 2, I feel like the rules were broken. I felt like everybody who died in the first Saw movie died for a reason. There was they either failed the test or there was a background to their story. Whereas in the second Saw film, someone just gets flat out murdered. And I was like, nah, why do I care about that then? Right. That being said, people love the mythology that came forward in the later Saw movies, like actually explaining Jigsaw and actually explaining one of his proteges and things like that. So for fans of the franchise, this could be a great installment. I haven't seen it, and I know, Schnepp, you love the Spierig brothers, so it's got a great directing team too.
Well, the first Saw was directed, I believe, by James Wan.
It sure was.
So I was like, you should just at least watch the first Saw and then go from there.
I think that's the big question that not just me, but a lot of people have when you see a poster for Jigsaw after, there's so many years that we haven't had a new Saw movie, is that, do I need to take Ashley's advice and go back and revisit or watch for the first time all these other Saw movies?
Question.
Or can I walk fresh into this movie and still get an entertaining horror ride?
I think you could walk in fresh and see Jigsaw, or if you want to see one of all of the Saw movies, just see the first one. I feel like, I can't remember which Saw it is. I know they did like 7 or 8 of them, but there was one where Tobin Bell came and kind of had an apprentice, that one gal.
Yes.
And I actually liked that. I can't remember. You could tell me on the comic board.
They built on it for like 3 movies.
And it was because there was a methodology to his madness, and they went back to the original Saw as to why he picked victims, and it was sort of like if you looked at Jigsaw as an even more twisted Punisher. Instead of just like taking people out and hunting them down for the crimes, he would make them try to, if you can escape from this crime. And usually he had it rigged so it's almost impossible to escape from because they had done something so heinous and evil in their life. So I feel like Jigsaw, in a weird way, is like a very vengeful kind of like vigilante. So in at least the original version of Saw, and then it kind of got mutated into these kind of horrible,
traps and devices.
Yeah. So, and I love the idea of Tobin Bell coming back. I know he's dead. Who cares? I mean, I think the Spirig brothers are really good directors when they're given really good material. And if you haven't seen Undead, check it out. It's one of the weirdest zombie movies that you haven't seen. It's this Australian zombie film. Putting them on with Jigsaw and making a new attempt at trying to revive this franchise after it had been beaten to death every year, where I was like, who cares about Saw? Literally, I won't speak for the horror community, but myself I was bored with the series, so I didn't want to see it anymore.
Okay, well,
now I'm interested.
Then Ashley, answer this for me. Should I go see the first Saw movie before I see Jigsaw, or should I be like a weird experiment, go see Jigsaw and then go check out the first Saw movie in hindsight?
I think that they are going to probably make reference. If you saw the first Saw movie, you'll get some little, references to the movie, but I think that it's going to be separated enough that you probably don't have to see all the ones before. The first Saw, one of my favorite movies. Mean Girls, Saw, my two favorite movies. I know they're totally opposite, but
No, they're not.
I could see it after high school, some of those girls.
Kind of similar. But I love the first Saw so much that it held like a special place in my heart that made me, even though I didn't like the following Saw movies, I still like them just because they were part of the Saw franchise. Something I will say though about this Jigsaw movie, it just seems way bigger than Saw itself. The first Saw, I loved it because it was this tiny room and it was so small, and there was just a huge story that came with that small room. This just seems like way bigger than any other Saw that I've seen. So I'm not sure how I feel about that, but because it's a Saw movie, I'm just so freaking excited
I like
for it.
that you brought that up, because that is one of those hesitations where I felt myself watching the trailer. I was like, are they going to go back? Because some of those later Saw movies got into like the spectacle of like, they've got a guy in a street inside a box or some stuff like that, where it just got corny. It got stupid. And the original Saw is freaking scary and rough because of that small, realistic, like you could see that actually happening.
Yeah.
All the other Saws can't really see that actually happening.
Totally.
So I felt like this is going to ride that line, and that's either why it's going to fail or succeed, is if it goes over that line of like, how the hell did they make all this crazy shit inside this factory? Then it would cost $1 million to construct this weird torture mechanism.
Yeah, at some point, don't you just like quit and go, I don't know, get a job? Like, this is what they wanted to do.
You got a remote control little puppet. Isn't that hard enough? Like, he keeps falling over. Hi, I'm Jigsaw. Clunk. You're like, the whole thing's ruined. You have to knock the person out again, put the puppet back.
You have to bring your friends over as like a census, as like a test. Like, hey, can you guys stand it? This is what I'm going to use to kill people. I'm not killing you today. I just need to make sure all this stuff works properly. So, oh my gosh, here's what I'll promise you guys for the future movie talk. I might say the word torture. I might say the word porn. I will never use them in a sentence together.
In front of me.
Very nice.
I will always honor the wolf.
Oh, thank you, sir.
We move on to buy or sell, and our first topic is about a movie that somehow is going to have a Bud Light sponsorship.
Hola, mi amigos. THR reports that Platinum Dunes' Andrew Form and Brad Fuller, along with Michael Bay, have enlisted The Muppets and Neighbors director Nick Stoller to write a live-action adaptation of Dora the Explorer for Paramount's new Paramount Players division. The movie kickstarts the project that had been inactive for some time, which is said to center on Dora, not as a 7-year-old like in the series, but now a teenager who moves to the city to live with her cousin Diego. No release date has been set, but THR says that the studio is gung-ho on the project and is eyeing a 2019 release. Schnepp, buy or sell a Dora the Explorer movie produced by Michael Bay? Totally.
Hey, so we're really going to talk about this. I thought it was a joke thing. You get Platinum Dunes, people can't even make a Friday the 13th movie. I don't care. Dora the Explorer, I'm glad that little kids enjoy it. It's a kid's property, that they're going to age it up and try to I get where they're trying to do is all the people who watch Dora the Explorer, they're teenagers now. Let's get that money and get the people who watched Dora 10 years ago to come in and enjoy the new Dora the Explorer live action series. We get the kids when they're with our cartoon. We get the teenagers with the. I think it's a horrible marketing ploy. It's horrible and gross, and I'm not going to buy it.
I'm going to put the Michael Bay stuff to the side just for a minute, and I'll talk about everything else about the Dora the Explorer potentiality. Is that I do like a lot of what I'm hearing. Is that if you're going to make a movie that's going to star a teenager Latina as the centerpiece, I think that's great. I think that's progressive. I think that you have a fan base that's going to flock to see this movie and might get inspired by it. And Nicholas Stoller is an interesting choice because doing more so the Muppets than Neighbors, which is pretty much a raunchy comedy, but still very, very funny. The Muppets, I see a lot of potential for, getting kids in the door, but also making adults happy watching it. So it's a tough mix to get with a property like Dora the Explorer, but I think that you had the chance to do it, Clarke. The Michael Bay producing it, Michael Bay's produced stuff before, and sometimes you can clearly tell when he's produced a movie, and other times it's more of a Steven Spielberg, I'm going to executive produce this, and I'll help you out with an effect shot if you need it, but otherwise, go make your movie. Hopefully Michael Bay allows Stoller and company to go make their movie that will honor Dora the Explorer from all the kids who grew up loving this and can get them to the next level with this character. If it becomes too much Michael Bay adventure, Ninja Turtles is what I'm kind of afraid of here, because I loved everything that I saw in the Ninja Turtles except when it got doused with too much Michael Bay sweatiness.
Yeah, I wonder, sort of the way that like Brett Ratner's company Rat Pack produces everything at Warner Brothers. Like they have a deal at WB, and so like they're just the producers on everything. But Brett Ratner is not producing, The Conjuring, right? It's like it's just a weird production deal. And so I wonder if Michael Bay has sort of the same setup at Paramount, because this is Paramount, it's Nickelodeon. So yeah. So that being said, though, I am totally with you. I'm buying this. I'm totally with you on Nick Stoller. He, in addition to Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Neighbors, like absolutely coming on board with the Muppets, like I think that this makes really good sense. And I'm thinking about things like the Lego movie, right? That could be, when I first heard about a Lego movie, I was like, really? Is this some sort of toy cash grab ridiculous thing? And the Lego movie was one of the best movies that came out that year, but it was because Miller and Lord, I think, really put their flair on it. And so for Nick Stoller to come on board this, I just think he's got an amazing track record, and I don't know if you could come up with another person that would be a better fit or a more intriguing fit. And also, I like the idea of a teenage Dora. Like, I think that's cool. It is cool for the kids who grew up watching her. It's cool for, Latina girls and boys who want to see Diego and want to see Dora on a real adventure in the city. Like, I think that's awesome.
Can you guys name a Platinum Dunes movie that's been good?
I'm really bad when it comes to like what movies. I'm glad it's not a wheel on the Schmodown.
All right,
what company paid money to have this movie? God, I don't know.
All right, I'm just saying like Stoller is an incredible talent. I'm just worried about it being mishandled, because it feels like every time I've heard the name Platinum Dunes, it's been associated with either a mishandling of a property or when the movie comes out, it sucks.
But Platinum Dunes does sound like a great casino in Atlantic City.
Yes, or a really cool deluxe version of Frank Herbert's book series.
I just wonder, I do wonder if it's not just a situation with Platinum Dunes and and Paramount and the WB and that analogy. I mean,
right. Maybe they're just like, here's some money, make it, because we trust Nick Stoller. Then I would.
That's the extent that I want Michael Bay producing this. Yeah. Actually, is I want Nick Stoller to get on the phone occasionally, say, "Hey, Mike, I need some more money." Okay. It just got wired. Bye. That's it.
I actually saw a College Humor clip where they did a well-produced Dora the Explorer kind of movie where they made it kind of into an action movie. And I'm wondering if this is going to be connected to that College Humor sketch in any way. But as your token brown girl on the panel, I will go there right now and say, if you don't get the casting right for this movie, there is going to be so much drama surrounding this movie. So I think you have to get the casting right with this one, or else people are going to be very upset.
You are much more than the token on this show. I am merely the token white guy that has to dress up a little bit. All right, what's our next topic?
Path and Calamity Films announced yesterday that they have set a February 2018 start date for principal photography on Judy, a biopic based on the true story of Judy Garland's final concerts in London. Academy Award winner and three-time Academy Award nominee Renee Zellweger will play Judy Garland, with British stage director Rupert Gould directing. A release date has not been set. Mark Byrsell, Renee Zellweger as Judy Garland in the biopic Judy.
I'm going to buy this. I mean, initially I heard Renee Zellweger Zellweger playing Judy Garland, I just started thinking timeline-wise, like, well, okay, Judy Garland was pretty young when she did The Wizard of Oz, but the way this movie takes place is in the later part of 1968, I believe. And so if she just gets to London to perform in The Talk of the Town, which came out at 30 to 29 years after the release of Wizard of Oz, I think that Renee Zellweger might be a great choice to play Judy Garland. And I'm not sure as far as Renee Zellweger's history, Clarke, is, if she has all the song and dance background or ability. I think she does. I mean, she's been in musical productions before. So if she can pull off something like she did in Chicago, then I think that her as Judy Garland, not only do I buy this, I think that you could potentially be smelling some sort of award caliber performance.
Yeah, so I buy this as well. It's funny, I mean this sincerely. I was driving around yesterday and a song from the film soundtrack came on my iPod and I was listening to it, and I had just been reading that Renee Zellweger, her latest movie it might have gone straight to video but it was a small production, faith-based film that she did with Greg Kinnear. Because look, that's great, and also work is work, and that's awesome. But I thought to myself, like, I really feel like Renee Zellweger deserves to be doing bigger, better, more interesting things. And then I started thinking back to her history. Like, I know we all think about her as maybe, from Jerry Maguire or Chicago or Bridget Jones, but I mean, like, Nurse Betty and, like, all these weird, quirky things that she's been so good in consistently. And so I love this. I really love it. Now, the thing actually that gives me pause, and I'm a huge Judy Garland fan. I'm a huge Liza Minnelli fan. I just find I'm compelled by both of them. So I love the idea of this. But the thing that gives me pause is Rupert Gould, because he has very little film directing experience. I don't know his stage experience. I'm sure it's more solid. I think he directed the Tonys one year. But one movie that he did do that I saw that I thought was awful was True Story with Jonah Hill and James Franco. And it's this drama where, like, James Franco is in prison and Jonah Hill is writing a story or writing a book about him. And it just, I mean, the performances were fine, but it was just long and boring and slow and not well directed. So I just hope that when you get into biopic territory, it's very easy to make your movies long and slow and boring and a bit trite. So I'm just hoping that this is the right balance, because I love Judy Garland and I love Renee Zellweger.
Looking forward to all the fans getting up in a fervor about how long the runtime is going to be for this movie. Schnepp, Judy Garland, Renee Zellweger. You complete me.
I think it's a great team up. The story of Judy Garland is quite a sad story. I mean, she was made fun of the whole time when she was in The Wizard of Oz, all the way up until her death, really. Excuse me, they called her ugly. She was mistreated. She had a lot of problems with prescription drugs and alcoholism. I mean, it's not a fun story when you think of the girl who played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And you see how her life unfolded. It's not a fun story. There's a lot of drama in there. So there's a lot of drama to mine and to tap. And I think Renee Zellweger is a great actress. I love Chicago. I love the performance that she gave in that. So I'll buy this. I don't know about the director. That kind of bums me out because I didn't see A True Story. So, but with the talent and the actual idea of bringing her story, I don't know how they're going to do it as well. Like, it's a biopic, but are they going to drop in through different parts of her life while she's getting ready to perform? I mean, how is the story going to be unfold?
It's a great question, because, like, it seems to me like this is going to be one of those movies. It's a little bit like the Steve Jobs movie, the one where Michael Fassbender was Steve Jobs, where it's just like this, like, one or three different speeches he gives, but you get so much insight into the character and how he got there, where he could be going from there, just on these little things. Tough for a director to pull off, but if Gould can do it, it could be a masterpiece.
Yeah, when I read this, I was like, this sounds like the ultimate snore fest. Like, I almost fell asleep while reading the notes, but then I actually looked up what Judy Garland's life was like, and it just blew my mind. I had no idea. It almost is ruining Wizard of Oz for me.
Yeah.
Not really ruining it, but it's just sad to see, like, what happened to her. Apparently, I don't know what the source, if it was credible or not, but she was shot up with, like, amphetamines to keep her awake longer and stuff like that. That's crazy to me, and I had no idea. So it's an interesting life to do a movie on. So
There's a musical called Over the Rainbow that was here in town. Yeah, did you see it?
I did not see it. No,
You
I
know
don't
what
get
I'm talking
invited to a lot of musical events, but
You can come with me anytime.
I get real nervous watching live performance. It's like I don't enjoy watching theater because I get concerned.
Well, the premise of Over the Rainbow is sort of exactly what we're talking about. It's towards the end of, and it's a I believe it originated on the West End in London, but it came here to LA and it toured and whatever. But you know, it's a chamber piece that takes place in one room in Judy's flat, and people come and go and whatever. And if that's sort of the approach that they take, then that's sort of interesting. But again, like Ashley was saying, there is potential for a snooze fest. So hopefully it isn't. And do they have the rights to the music? What music do they have? Like, are they going to be, is Renee going to sing? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they'd probably at least be able to do the Broadway or the British show that she was doing at the time, if not, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which I have not seen, but my mom has seen Wicked. All right, I want to remind you guys that this is by far not the only show we have on Collider Video's YouTube channel. Your Daily Dose of Heroes is going to be coming up later today. We also have a Stranger Things 2 non-spoiler review is up on the channel. Stranger Things, I believe, comes out later this week on Netflix.
Friday.
That's very exciting. And if you have any questions about something going on in the sci-fi genre, in the horror genre, in anything that is fun to celebrate around this time of year, you go to Clarke, Wolfe, and we are proud to say that Collider Nightmares is back and on Collider Video every day this week.
Woohoo! It's so exciting. Jon Schnepp is there. The gang's all here. It's me, it's Perry, it's Riley. And we had such a great time doing this. We basically did it Heroes style. Yep. So we're tackling a different topic every episode. Every day this week for a Halloween special at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You guys were so supportive. You asked for it. So we gave it to you, but now you got to watch it. I know there's exciting Stranger Things happening, but you got to watch Nightmares too. And for some of you who maybe haven't watched Nightmares before, something fun that we did this time was every single member of the panel gave one Halloween movie recommendation. So at the end of the week, that's going to be 20 recommendations of Halloween movies that you can watch over this weekend, getting ready for Halloween next week. So be sure to tune in.
My Halloween recommendation, as it is every year, look who's talking. Babies talking? That's some scary shit. Sorry I swore. Let's move on to mailbag. Oh, also we have the Schmodown panel is this weekend at LA Comic-Con, so make sure you guys go there. It's going to be Sunday at LA Comic-Con, so get ready for some live Schmodown action. So Ashley, we have mailbag, then we're going to be doing some live Twitter questions. What do we do first? I forget.
Let's go with the one that's already set, all right?
Okay. It's right there on the rundown.
It's the mailbag, yep. Johnny writes, hey guys, love the channel. It seems like every year a certain film or film character inspires a breakout in Halloween costumes. Last year it was Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, so my question is, what film or film character from 2017 do you expect to see the most costumes of come this Halloween? Thanks for taking my question.
There's a certain clown I think that's going to be making the rounds at a lot of Halloween parties. You really got to twist my arm to get dressed up for Halloween. So I don't do the Halloween parties. Clarke, do you?
God. You know, I'm weird about. I feel like maybe horror people feel this way as well, but I feel like Halloween is like New Year's Eve. There's so much expectation. There's so much like, what party are you going to? What party did you get invited to? Did you go? Oh, I have like 700 Halloween parties this year. Oh, you didn't get invited? Oh, weird. Sorry. And maybe that's just me and my weird horror bubble that I live in. But I'm kind of like on Halloween costumes as well. I don't know why. I mean, I will dress up and I throw things together, but I just.
Schnepp, you've seen a lot of movies this year. Who do you think? What movie character do you think we're going to see the most of at your Halloween party rounds?
Probably about 30 Pennywises in varying sizes and shapes and degrees of Pennywiseness. I was just at a birthday party this last weekend, and it was also like at least 10 people were all dressed up. I didn't even know I didn't know it was a Halloween party.
What are they practicing for Halloween parties?
No, they were probably coming from other Halloween parties, or maybe there was some memo that I missed. I was just dressed as an idiot, normal person. But there was a guy who's dressed as a great Pennywise who just came from performing as Pennywise at a theater. So he was like, "Hey, I get paid for this, and I got a costume." So
if you're performing as Pennywise, doesn't that technically mean you're in a sewer somewhere doing bad stuff to kids?
And eating kids. Yeah. I'm not going to hold that against him. It was like, look,
he's in character.
Yeah,
That'll work.
we were at a party. He checked out. He was off duty. Yeah, as long as you're not bringing candy corn, I don't have any problem with you.
What's wrong with candy?
love
This
Oh,
is-
you'll
this
find out if you watch
This is a great
Nightmares.
tease for Collider Nightmares today. Please
right.
watch it.
All
we
I
get
know
into
is
the
that
candy corn
I
debate.
really love me some candy
Me too.
corn.
It's delicious.
Stop
You
it.
guys, me too.
No.
Okay.
You'll
well,
find out why candy corn is evil
You got
if
to
you watch
tune into
Nightmares.
Clarke Nightmares
Sure
for more on that.
will.
I think you're going to see some Wonder Women pop up. You're going to see some Logans pop up, like more movie themed kind of cosplay. I think you might see some Baby Driver. I just have a feeling you're going to see like the Ansel Elgort, like you're going to get like that cool jacket, like a lot of people walking around in earbud. That's who I'll go as. Because I don't want to talk to anybody at a party anyway. So I'll just be
Bam.
listening to my music, and then you guys can have fun with your little Pennywises.
Panama. Put that earbud back in. Yeah.
Pennywise. All right, let's go to live Twitter questions. This is the part of the show where we hear from you guys. You can tweet us anytime at Collider Video. We got a couple lined up today. Ashley, don't scare me.
All right, Goody Bear writes, which failed attempt at a franchise should get a second chance? Assassin's Creed, maybe?
Oh, man, I think it's going to be
Ooh.
a minute before you get another Assassin's Creed. But if you're looking in the video game genre, I think that there's a lot to pick from because we've already seen Tomb Raider's getting another shot with
Right.
Alicia Vikander as Lara. She said that when she says her name in the trailer, it's more Lara than Lara, just so everybody out there knows. And she seems to be right. She's playing the role. So I think that if that's a harbinger of the times and Assassin's Creed could eventually get a reboot, is there something that really is just failing as a franchise that you want to see, Schnepp?
I would like them to try another attempt at Warcraft. I think maybe try doing a mini series on a streaming channel and make it a lot smaller. I mean, because Warcraft, it depends on how you play Warcraft. It can be a small, intimate game, or it can be like a seafaring. Like I've got my fleet, I'm building, I'm researching spells. There's a whole world there. So I would like to see a couple of one-offs. Following one or two characters in the world of Warcraft, and Blizzard can do it. I'd like to see that happen.
Yeah, Clarke, there's certain properties that are so great that you can't touch, like the Golden Girls. But is there anything that you see out there that needs to be rebooted from a movie standpoint?
I'm gonna. They're talking about doing it already. We'll see if it actually happens. But the Dark Tower. I mean, like that had such great casting. I thought the cast was perfect. And the quality and potential is all there. They just totally mishandled it, and that's Sony's fault, by watering it down and trying to play to the lowest common denominator. And I know they're saying that the TV reboot will have nothing to do with the movie, and it's like, well, you guys are dumb. You should have locked up McConaughey and Idris Elba. Like, lock them up. It's not their fault that movie was terrible. It's like, or it wasn't. You know what I mean?
Well, but
yes.
Playing the devil's advocate, because that movie has such a stink on it, and they're
Absolutely.
now burned in. Like you're like, oh. Imagine if they carried them over. They'd be
Right.
like, I'm not going to see
No.
that version of this. So it's like,
Yeah.
even if they did a great version of the TV show, I'd rather they reboot it completely because
So here's my question, though. Maybe because since nobody saw Dark Tower, if enough time goes by, it wouldn't be like, oh, those guys. It'd be like, oh, Matthew McConaughey's in this show? Cool.
I think that by that point, I just think McConaughey and Elba, for their own careers, probably just want to
Yeah, no, I mean-
move on with the rest of
you're
their
right.
lives.
You're right.
But if you had to reboot something, then look, nothing's ever going to take away the greatness of the first Mortal Kombat for me. So I'm fine if you want to attempt it again. But if you do attempt it again, you should also attempt the reboot of another video game movie that didn't fare as well, and that'd be Street Fighter. Because if I'm Shang Tsung and I'm looking to recruit and I'm looking for the baddest people on earth to come fight in my tournament, I look at Street Fighter too. You got your Kens, you got your Ryus, you got your Blanca. How does Blanca not get an invite to the Mortal Kombat tournament?
Right.
That's what I want to know. That's what you call a snub, kids. All right, let's do one more Twitter question, and we will call it a day.
Okay, Rocky Drago 66 writes, question mainly for Clarke.
Oh.
If Get Out does get Oscar nominations, which one is most likely to happen?
That's a great question. My money, if I were a betting lady, would be on Best Original Screenplay. Because that way you can honor Jordan Peele. You can sort of give him, and also you can honor the film and everything that it was about and all of the messaging that you put forward. Look, it's a really good question because, as we know, and we talked about this on Nightmare, so you definitely should watch. Actually, Oscars are some people like Mr. Jon Schnepp don't care because he's a fan and true blue, and it doesn't matter if a movie gets Oscar nominations or not. But we know that for horror fans and for horror films, it's really hard to break through. Yeah. But Get Out could be the one that does it. But I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day. There are 10 slots for Best Picture. I think that they might try. Universal might try, and I think they should. But I would, look at like Bridesmaids. Bridesmaids got a Best Original Screenplay nomination. You can look at, I'm thinking there's one more. But anyway, yeah, I think that's a good opportunity for the Academy to honor Jordan Peele with an Academy Award nomination, which he deserves, but also seem cool and like, we're hip and look at us.
Hey, look at us. We enjoyed the Get Out.
Yeah. Where's my walker?
Yeah.
So it's not going to get in the top 10 film, because most of the people who are in the Academy didn't even see Get Out. Let's just be honest. Unless, even if they have a screener, they're like, I'm not going to watch that yet. It's like, sorry, we all know that the Academy are, I keep talking like I'm an old man, but it's like, look, there's a lot of people who are like, they're like, hey, I'm going to vote for my friend.
I like that Phantom thread.
This guy hasn't gotten something in a long time. It's like, but you didn't even see the movie.
Boy that came out a few years
ago.
So
you're right, though. I think if it's going to get in anywhere, it's going to get in with original screenplay, at least get nominated. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping to see that. But like I say all the time, I don't care about these, awards shows. It's like, what movie do people actually enjoy and go see? And then what the fan community, or at least different kinds of communities, like the horror community, what are we into? That's what I'm more concerned with than some stupid award.
Well, I would say that Rocky Drago aimed the question at the right person, Clarke, because that's my answer as well, is original screenplay. Though I still think that there's an upset shot that Get Out could get nominated for one of those 10 Best Picture slots. I don't think it's totally out of the realm of possibility for something like that, or Logan, or Wonder Woman, or Baby Driver to sneak in there and get one of the 10 nominations. This is why I love that they expanded the field to 10, because it allows us to celebrate more movies, which is kind of what we like to do around these parts. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this celebration of movies. Thanks for watching Movie Talk. Thanks to the hardworking crew behind the scenes, whose names shall remain nameless, because that's the way they like it. And I don't have time. Schnepp, where can the kids find you?
You can find me being filmed by Adam and Cody. I named them. They have been named.
It's a big spoiler.
Ye shall not be named. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Heroes Tomorrow. Check out yesterday's show. We went to Monday and Wednesdays now. That's how we're rocking Heroes. And an extended, extra sweaty length, so people are complaining about the 15-minute shows. Don't get all nuggety. They're like 45 minutes to an hour now. Like, get sweaty. And check out my Kickstarter. It's called 5. Go check it out. I'm trying to make a comic book. Support me, yo. What up?
Heroes is on Monday and Wednesday now. So instead of like getting like a 6-pack of McNuggets, it's like a 20-pack of McNuggets.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Extra sweaty McNuggets.
I love sweaty McNuggets.
That's actually the only kind of McNuggets you can get are very, very sweaty.
Well, as I've said a million times before, but let's say it again, you can find me on Collider Nightmares all week this week alongside Jon Schnepp, Perry Nemiroff, and Mark Riley at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please watch. You guys asked for it. We did it. So now you got to watch it. That's how this works. And if you're in LA and if you're going to be at LA Comic-Con, I will be on the Professionals panel led by Holly Payne, and that is this Saturday at 1 p.m. So if you're down there, please come say hello and come check us out. It'll be a lot of fun.
And
behind the back pass to Jon Schnepp.
Totally forgot. I should have pimped Stan Lee's Los Angeles Comic-Con. There's a Heroes panel on Saturday. Doing a ton of panels. I'm at booth 1407, so you might see Mark Riley. Are you going to be around?
I'm going to be on the road this week.
And he's always, where are you going to be? Throwback to Mark Riley.
That's Mark Ellis. Mark Riley? I was like, Mark
I can't believe
Riley.
Yeah. Oh, wait, trolls, please don't attack me and throw hatred towards me because I called Mark Riley Mark Ellis.
There's a lot of Marks floating around this studio.
Quicksilver, it's very confusing.
I can guarantee you guys this.
Mark
This
Riley.
is the Mark with the cool, clean 90-minute runtime. Ashley Mova, where can everybody find you and your stunning, weird throwback laptop?
What? This is a beautiful laptop.
It's a giant brick.
You guys can find me typing on this beauty on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
Happy Tuesday. And to everybody else out there who also uses word processors still, enjoy. My name is merely Mark Ellis. You guys can find me at Mark Ellis Live on Twitter. I'm going to be at the Syracuse Funny Bone coming up here real soon, so I will see everybody there. And in the meantime, we'll be right back here tomorrow morning for another episode of Collider Movie Talk.
Mark Ellis.
Hey everybody, Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode of Collider Movie Talk. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. And if you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.